Hello YouTube, this is Keith Kevin Kent. How you doing? How you doing? Man, I hope you're doing well today. I really do. Today is Tuesday, August 27th, 2019. Time again for another pocket dump deconstruction. This is where I talk about what I'm carrying today. It gives me a chance to show you 3 knives, cigar, a watch, an ink pen, a coin, all in one. So let's get to it. The watch today is my Heuer Monaco. Now, all of my mechanical watches, all of the watches besides my Apple watches, I got when I was consulting 20, 25, 26 years ago. Every time I'd get a new client, I'd get a new watch. And I always wanted watches that could last forever, you know? Even could pass down. That didn't mean they were mega expensive watches. All of you have seen more expensive watches than the ones that I show you on these pocket dump deconstructions, but they're still there. Always loved the Heuer Monaco with the square dial. Loved it. Love it. Why I say loved as in past tense. And of course, I really have a thing. Let's see if we can knock off some of this. I really love Cuban cigars. You know, in the 1980s, for you young folks, hold on. Oh, man, that's great. In the 80s, cigar smoking just took off, went crazy. And in 1980, my oldest daughter was born. So, of course, I started smoking cigars as a celebration. And I found these handmade cigars, and I kept, you know, at that time when it started exploding in the U.S., the big thing was Cuban cigars. So it's one of those, when you're growing up, I want a cigar. I want a Cuban cigar. I finally got to England and smuggled in a lot of great Cuban cigars. Some of them I still have in my humidors. But one of my favorite non-Cuban cigars was the La Gloria. And to find a stash of the Cuban La Gloria Cabanas just made me very happy. And I had to get boxes of them. First, it reminded me of my youth. Reminded me of my first daughter. I have 3 kids, 2 daughters and a son who are grown. I have 5 grandkids as well. But man, it tastes so great. That's the thing. People say, well, it's unhealthy and you shouldn't do it. And they are absolutely correct. Now, the shouldn't do it part, that's a personal preference thing. So they're absolutely wrong telling a grown man what he should or shouldn't do. But I think with a cigar, because it's slow and you're thinking about it. By the way, it's not good for you, but it's good for you to think back. Anything that gives me a chance to think about the early days of fatherhood and all of that is worth a couple of puffs to me. Shown Design pen. You guys know I'm a huge fan of that. This is the bronze one. This one it's starting to get patina, as you can see. It hasn't got as much of a patina as my old non-clip Shown Design pen has. I'm not going to get my fountain pen for another week and a half or so. He's on vacation now, but I've gotten a bronze fountain pen as well. These things are heavy, but I don't know, just like a good watch, just like a lot of things, I kind of like that heft. Scotch. I don't know, guys. You know, I'm just smoking good cigars and drinking good single malt Scotch. When in doubt, when kind of slowed down a bit, I'm going to the good life and taking one day at a time. You guys, a lot of you had great comments on the pocket dump deconstruction yesterday, and it helped me out so much. Part of it was, what's the hurry? Take it easy. And I appreciate all of that. The coin that I'm carrying, why do you carry a 1-ounce silver coin every time? And really it's in celebration of my grandfather. When I was young, he was alive, of course. He'd always have a pocket full of silver dollars. You know, back then, before 1964, silver dollars were actually real silver. And you could buy a lot of penny candy and a lot of stuff. So when you got a silver dollar, it was really special. This right here, of course, I collect silver coins just because I'm a collecting guy. I'm crazy that way. 2007 Canadian Maple Leaf coin. It's a real classic coin. Whoops. We got dark there, didn't we? I'm trying to play with the lighting as I go with this because I know some things shine too much, some things are too dark. So every now and then when you get a blackout or some weird thing, that's why I'm playing as I go. This is a Mont Blanc skinny wallet. Let's take... It's funny, you know, this pocket dump, and I'll tell you why I decided it. This pocket dump with three Spydercos on it. This is my Smithson leather notepad. I have a lot of these. You guys see the smaller notepads that I've been carrying now that have little sayings on them. I love this Smithson. I bought one when I was successful with consulting. I became a consultant again just a couple of months ago, May. And so I decided to get some newer ones with a little smaller to carry a pad. I just like that. Love technology, but love pads as well. You know, a lot of times I will carry an expensive knife like a Chris Reeve knife, which is pretty expensive. One of my Chris Reeve knives or something like that. And then I'd also say, and the knife that almost made the carry is a Chris Reeve knife. So those are the more expensive carries. With Spyderco, it's hard to get that kind of expensive carry, but I did this time. These two knives are the two most expensive knives that Spyderco released in 2019. We'll talk about those in a second after I talk about, of course, my keychain knife. I carry a silver loop with 3 keys on it, so I always carry a keychain knife. I love these small knives. This is a wonderful Spyderco LadyBug with Packerwood. Hap 40 steel, Packerwood, wonderful scales. This is a knife center exclusive. They have a dragonfly. Let's see, they have the dragonfly. They have this LadyBug, which is the newest in their collection. Delica and an Endura. I really like this as a nice keychain knife. Fancy keychain knife. Now, why did I start playing with these expensive Spydercos today? And that's pretty much what I do. I get up, I think about what I'm going to carry, I go through my cases, and sometimes it's the knife that I've been playing with the most is my first choice. That was my first choice. We'll talk about the Drunken later. And then I start going through again and I pick a knife that I want to carry even more. And that's what this is. This is the Paisan. It seemed like we waited forever for Spyderco to release this knife, and they did, and it's a beauty. It really is. Peter Rosenti, it's one of his, the scales are integral, which means one piece of flattened down titanium. And then, of course, look at the 3D. Now, remember, Peter Rosenti does this with his customs, but to have a machine make a bunch of them for a production knife is really something special, and Spyderco did that. This was close to $500. Well, this was over 500. That was close to $500. So these were more than Chris Reeve knives, pretty much, or the same amount from a Spyderco. Spyderco called these their prestige knives. They do it every now and then. They challenge themselves to do something just a little bit more special than their regular production knives. This one, smooth as silk, and I really like the Paisan. You know, when you're collecting, you're buying a lot of new knives, which I have over the past 2 or 3 months, and you put them in a Pelican case. I carry my knives, or store my knives, in 5 Pelican cases, 4 1550s and 1 1600. And they get lost. They don't get lost, but you forget about them because there's so many of them, right? And I try to get a variety of what I carry. And here's these expensive knives that I waited a year to get for Spyderco to release. I love these knives, and I hadn't carried them, you know? I was so busy with all the other knives, and so I really enjoyed it. This is a smooth knife right out of the box. It feels like a good expensive knife. I have to tell you, it's tough to spend this kind of money on a Spyderco. I do it. I'm part of their collectors club, so I'm buying all their knives. I've committed to buying all of them. But you guys know, I love Spydercos. I probably would have gotten another Chris Reeve knife. Honestly. 2 more. But I really like the Paisan. CPM S90V steel, 3.9 inch blade. The entire length of it is 8.7 inches, and it weighs 4.7 ounces. And I love the pivot, nice custom pivot for them. I also love that they have the stainless steel insert. You know, when you have titanium frame lock, it always is going to come into contact with that stainless steel blade. Steel stronger than titanium, it will wear down and travel. So you see a lot of people putting in that stainless steel insert to stop that from happening. Right hand tip up only. And this time around with a Rosenti, Spyderco, I guess to save a little bit of cost after they knew it was going to hit about 500, they put a standard clip on it instead of a custom clip. To me, if you're going for it, put a custom clip on it. But I'm happy with all of this. Real nice. That's the Paisan by Spyderco. The second most expensive knife is Spyderco's first collaboration. First one with Dmitry Sinkovich. Now, I'm not that familiar with Sinkovich. I know how popular he is. I have my first 2 ZT knives were Sinkovich knives, and I fell in love with them. I only have 2 ZT knives, both Sinkovich knives, so I really love them. So I was excited to get this. This was close to $500, in the $400 range, but man, it feels great in the hand. This is the Spyderco Drunken. It's based on Sinkovich's custom Drunken. Drunken, if you can you see the pattern? Let's see, I think you see it better on the titanium. This is carbon fiber and titanium, 3D, see the curvature, but can you make out that like pattern on the back? Yeah, that pattern is on the carbon fiber as well. It's just harder to pick up. That's called a Drunken pattern. That's why this is called the Drunken. But Spyderco went all out for this one. Drop point, S90V steel, just like the Rosenti Paisan. Drop point blade, 3.4 inches. The total length is 8 inches. 3.1 ounces. It really is nice in the hand. Nice blue custom pivot. Now, of course, when I say custom pivot, obviously, this is a production knife, but I mean it's different than the regular Spyderco pivot. They gave a lot of thought to it. And then this has a backspacer. Feels like titanium backspacer, I believe it is. And that backspacer, see how it comes out? To kind of help form the lanyard hole. Really nicely done. In this case, they did go with a unique clip for the Drunken. Again, right hand tip up only on the Drunken. This is the knife I'm not going to carry. Man, sometimes I just fall in love with the second knife, or I nail the first knife and then I go, let me look at another, and I keep playing with knives, and then I choose the one that is close. This was a toss-up. It really was. Like I said, 3.4 inch S30V steel drop point, 8 inches. This, the reason I almost went with this is 3.1 ounces with a Paisan with that titanium handle is 4.4 ounces. But I'm in a titanium mood today. There you have it. That's one of the most expensive Spyderco carriage pocket dump that you'll see on this channel. Now, sometimes I'll have a more expensive Spyderco, but it's only because it's a classic and you can only get it, you know, it's been discontinued for years, that kind of thing. But this was right out of the box new. Two of Spyderco's most expensive knives this year. I'm happy with both of them. I really am. Hope you guys have a perfect day. What did I write this early this morning on Instagram? Smile today. It always makes your haters feel uncomfortable to see you smiling and happy. Also, it makes you feel better too. You guys have a good one. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications. Have a perfect day. Keep those pockets full. Goodbye.